What's the difference between me and Shaitan or Satan? Well, for one, Satan doesn't exist, but I do. So, if you know my story, I was the one that converted to Sunni Islam. I was raised as an Ismaili, so I became the religious one in the family. Even my dad and mom weren't that religious. I became religious and I implemented Islam on my family, like my kids and my wife and whatever. In terms of me leaving Islam, my mom, she felt like, God helps her, she believes in God, and she thinks that, it gives her some sort of peace or something. So she's like, I would believe in God, but I'm like, yeah, I just don't believe. I'm not convinced. In terms of my dad as well, believes in God, but he's like, it's up to you, whatever you believe is fine with me, I still love you. So I'm lucky. I have a liberal Muslim family. They don't really care what I believe or not believe. I'm sure, one of my aunties was actually crying, and one of my other family members was crying that I'm going to go to hell. But most of them are not like that. They don't really think like that. They're just like, yeah, live your life, They're all decent people, Okay, here's me trying to recite Surah Fatiha after, since 2015, 6 years now almost. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Round of applause. Trivia question for Muslims. Did Prophet Muhammad own slaves? If he did he own any female slaves? If he did he ever sleep with any of those female slaves? Surely he wouldn't do that, being the best man that ever lived, would he? He wouldn't sleep with a female slave. That would be like a boss sleeping with his employee. Even worse than that, because you own the slave. You control their food. You control their livelihood. You can make their lives a living hell, or you can free them. Surely the best man that ever lived for the last 1400 years wouldn't have slept with female slaves. Ask yourself, was he really the best man that ever lived? Can you justify such a thing, allowing his soldiers to sleep with the female slaves and also partaking in such activities himself? Did you know that he did this? Look it up for yourself. So a Muslim that's been talking to me on Twitter in DM asked me to call into this arena, the arena, who will dare enter, join the 5 gladiators. They call themselves gladiators. And so I was like, I don't know if they're going to let me on, because last time I was on SC Dawa, they actually banned me and all the ex-Muslims who tried to call in, and instead they preferred white atheists who were never Muslim. Basically people that don't know Islam but are atheists. They allowed them on, even though they said we're inviting atheists, but they refused to allow any ex-Muslims. Well, guess what happened today when I tried to call in? Well, lo and behold, they blocked me from entering again. They kicked me out of the waiting room, and I have a StreamYard account, so I know that's exactly what happened. I was there waiting in the room. They kicked me out, and they even highlighted a super chat where I said I wanted to call in. I tried 3 times, but you guys keep kicking me out. I guess you don't want to talk to me, even though it's 5 versus 1. What are they so scared of with ex-Muslims? This has been my experience over the years. Check out my blog article, Why Are Muslims Running Away? Why are they so scared of having a conversation? Here's something interesting to think about. The Quran does not mention atheism, not even once. Can you imagine that atheism is now the biggest challenge to the Muslim community in 2020 and 2021? Yet, it doesn't even deal with the issue. It assumes you're either a polytheist, meaning an idolater. It assumes you're either a Christian or a Jew. That's about it. Or a Sabian, which is a religion that doesn't even exist anymore. There's no discussion of atheism, of godlessness. That's it. Now, why would that be? Is it because Allah didn't know about atheism? Didn't know it was going to be a big issue? Or is it because Allah doesn't exist? That's why. The Quran was made for the 7th century, for what Muhammad knew, not for all times.
I've gotten this question about a bazillion times, and I haven't answered it yet because I feel like it's not really an honest question. I just cannot believe that people do not really understand why people criticize religion, and specifically Christianity, within the United States. But let's pretend you don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you don't believe in unicorns. But let's say I created a religion around unicorns. And in my religion, everyone has to live their lives around unicorns. People who don't believe in unicorns will go to hell. And I tell people that on a regular basis. The unicorns don't like heterosexual marriage. So I actively work to make heterosexual marriage illegal. Because the unicorns tell me to. Me and my fellow unicorn lovers start a political party where we try to politically enforce our own unicorn views on others. We try to make kids pray to unicorns in schools. We try to stop teachings on zoology because it doesn't follow our unicorn beliefs. We abuse children in the name of unicorns. And of course we discriminate against people who don't love unicorns. You're being actively harmed by me and my unicorn buddies. Surely you'd have no complaints. You don't believe unicorns are real.